What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning back in. I'm Wyatt Bagnall.
Taylor Wallerstein.
And today we are going to review the Week 2 slate. We're going to start off with how we did with our predictions of them. And it was not a great week. Last week I was feeling really good. Went 10-6. This week, 7-9. So,
7-9 as well. Thought I was going to do much better. Thought I had some great picks lined up. My money line parlays did not work out. I am still broke.
There you go. I mean, I felt really, really smart. And then 3 crazy comebacks messed up 3 of my picks, which had any of them gone right, I would have been at least 10-6 again.
Yeah.
So
no, it's I don't want to talk about it anymore.
No, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, in terms of overall records for the year, I think 10-6, 7-9. So I'm 17 and... 17.
15?
I think so. Yeah, I was about to say, am I 1 or 2 games over 500? Yeah, I'm still over 500, but I got to do good with my week 3 picks to stay that way.
I believe that I'm 15.
I think you'd be 1 game under, because you were like 1 game under last week.
I think I'm not.
Oh, you'd be 2 games under then.
I think I'm 14 and what?
14 and 18?
14 and 18?
Yeah.
Like that? Yeah.
You had the same record back to back? Yeah.
Yeah, I was 7-9, so yeah, 14-18.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Brutal. Hate to see it. But we're going to dive... Yeah, exactly. We're going to dive right into these. Starting with Thursday night, Chargers 24, Chiefs 27. Unfortunate one. I think the Chiefs really got helped by the refs. There was at least two picks for sure that the Chargers had that the refs called back.
I could go on a crazy rant, but Twitter and everybody else did it for me. So it's like everyone knows that Mahomes got bailed out in that game.
Yep. The one thing is just that rib injury. He might play through it.
He's the man for playing through it. I'll give it to him. I don't know if it's the right call, though.
I think in that game it was because it was close.
Yes. That game, yes, and he had some strikes with Hurton.
You could see
nothing but respect for Justin Herbert.
The play where he didn't run it, and then immediately the next play, that might have been the throw of the damn week.
Yeah. Oh, up there.
I don't know how that thing got completed. That was a laser.
Dude's a magician, bro.
Yeah, that was a crazy one. Respect to the Chargers, I think their roster was better than the Chiefs, but I think a little bit of bad luck and the refs helping them out put Kansas City over the top. Chiefs didn't play awful, but they didn't play in a way that scares me.
Yeah. The Chargers are scarier in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they showed that they are on roughly the same level. I just think that overall the Chargers just they played better, but they were the one where the ball just didn't bounce their way that night,
which is typical Chargers fashion. So
yeah. So, the rib injury is a thing. I'm not sure. He might be able to play through it if he just takes the shots, which, hey, not the same doctor. You cannot let the same doctor...
I would fucking hope it's not the same fucking doctor. Good look.
The Tyrod Taylor thing? Yeah. So, Herbert, awesome. Dude, my entire fantasy team is just decimated. He's my fantasy quarterback.
It's tough. 2-0.
Yeah. No, my entire fantasy team was injured by week 1. So I was like, this is
tough.
I'm like, it's just that year for me.
Happens to everyone.
Yeah,
everyone goes through it.
I had like 5 good years of it not happening to me. I was like, okay. Yeah,
overdue.
Yep, checks out.
End of the film.
So, it is what it is. Life goes on. But yeah, Chargers fall to 1-1. Chiefs go to 2-0. Early season, early in the year, but honestly, it was a good game, so I'm not going to bitch that much about it. But
yeah, it's just disappointing that it wasn't solved by talent on the field, and it was, this is me not even coming at Mahomes. This is genuinely just as a football fan. I don't think anybody wants to see refs throwing the flags and trying to be the stars of the show. Really would have loved to see it come down to just 2 talented guys throwing the rock, and it came down to some other things and some injuries, but honestly, both teams looked... I mean, the Chiefs did what they had to win that game, despite, they may have gotten some help.
Despite getting body slammed, quite literally.
They were getting rocked earlier. Yeah, quite literally. Exactly. Derwin James is a monster. The Chiefs did what they need to. They obviously got a little help to make it happen, but they did what they needed to be in a position to win with that help, and I think the Chargers had every opportunity, even with a hurt quarterback, to potentially win that game because that team is looking really good. So
yeah.
Shout out Mike Williams putting 25 points up on my bench. 0-2 in another league because of you.
In another league because of you. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, overall, AFC West, those look like the two top teams pretty squarely, which I thought the Chargers would be. I'm not surprised the Chiefs are, but it's just I really wanted some shakeup in that division. I think
we all do.
I think a couple divisions could use it.
Yeah.
I'm still not saying the Chiefs are going to win the West. I think they might though, depending on if Herbert's going to miss time. We're going to move on to the Sunday slate though. Here's a freaking shocker. Miami 42, Baltimore 38. I said in my predictions of this game, the only thing that could beat the Ravens is freak plays from Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
And they got
And it's exactly what did it. Other than that, they completely owned them. And yeah, this is just one of those. I don't think you'll see Baltimore do this again. You might see Miami do this again, but this is just shit just crumbled for the Ravens as it did for a few other teams. Impressive by Miami. Yeah. We both talked some shit about Tua. He played really well in that game.
I think.
Come on, dude. He was the highest graded quarterback of the weekend.
Whoa. I'm not about to shit on the guy.
I don't believe you.
After a 6-touchdown game, I got to give credit where credit's due. He probably watched this fucking episode of us shitting on him and said, go ahead and watch this.
Yeah.
I will say that dude's getting bailed out by some elite talent in Jalen Waddle and in Tua. But you know what?
And in Tua.
Oh, excuse me. And in Tyreek. Fucking got Tua on the brain, apparently.
Yeah, you did.
I genuinely, I'm not convinced just yet, but it's a great way to shut up the haters is have a 6-touchdown, 450-yard game.
He just put himself in a Dolphins record book with Dan Marino and Brian Griese. So
and granted, we've seen guys who have had great flashes like that and completely fallen off, and I'm still of the opinion that we're definitely having that version of Tua. He had one good game. Mm-hmm. But you know what? There's plenty of time left for him to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
There is a game coming up with the Bengals pretty damn soon that I'm now a little bit more nervous about.
I bet you are.
A little bit more nervous about.
What is that? I know it's not this week because the Dolphins are playing the Bills.
We play the Jets this week.
Yeah, Dolphins have got the Bills.
I think we play in week 4 though. I think we genuinely.
That's possible.
Play in week 4, yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
So, hey, you know what? I will absolutely give the credit where credit's due. Tua, that was a hell of a fucking game you put on. I literally, I tried to make excuses for myself. I definitely, in my group chat where I have people who are all like-minded, monkey-brained like me, we were all literally just don't let Tua throwing 450 yards and 6 touchdowns distract you from the fact that he was underthrowing his receivers all day long. I was trying to make my excuses, but at the end of the day, I mean, what can you say other than, hey, that's a good fucking game?
Yeah, and honestly, Lamar Jackson's having a really hot start to the year.
I can't even knock Lamar either.
No, this really was the most uncharacteristic loss for the Ravens. Normally, when they're ahead, you're done. But yeah, it was exactly what I thought could happen, which is just if Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle have a couple of just freaky plays,
it's a different ballgame.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. The thing I take away the most, I don't take away a ton in terms I don't think the Ravens are going to be this perennial choking, collapsing team. Sure. I take away that the Dolphins can be explosive, and they're 2-0.
Mike Daniels.
Mike McDaniel, dude.
Excuse me, Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
2-0.
Yeah.
2-0.
Looking good.
Can't argue with the results there.
Yeah, no.
And the two people he beat, Bill Belichick and John Harbaugh.
Not bad. He's got a tall order this week, though.
I think this is when the Dolphins potentially come down to earth. Granted, there's a lot of hype following them, so who knows? And we just saw them beat another AFC contender. Mm-hmm. I think this is the AFC contender that they're playing against this week. Mm-hmm. So we'll see, especially with the defense like the Bills, where they're changing the way defense is being played. We'll talk about that later, but it'll be interesting to see. And I got to shut up for a week. So good job, Tua. It's not often you get me to admit that I need to shut up for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So
and Lamar,
it's rare. It's rare that anyone makes him shut up for a week.
That is true. That's fact. I would also like to give a quick little shout out. Ravens have looked good in 2 games as well. Thank God the Dolphins pulled this one off because this helps with us going 0-2, obviously, and we'll talk about that later. but genuinely putting up 38 points and losing, hard to blame the offense.
It's really hard to blame the offense. Yeah, like I said, I take more away about this from Miami. I think this is this was like the freak week for Baltimore. Just like, what the...
You called it. I remember watching it and seeing it happen. I was like, God damn it, he's not going to shut up.
I mean, it was legit. Looking at the whole, like, on paper, everything, I'm like, this is the only thing they have. And it panned out. Moving on to another freaky game.
Ooh, yeah.
Jets 31, Browns 30. There was some stat of every team leading by like at least like 13 points in the last 2 minutes had not lost in the last like 2,000 something games. The last team to do it was the Browns. And
how poetic!
Way to bring it back, guys.
How to remind us all of just what this franchise is
I
about.
mean, what the...
You can have the best roster ever, and you're still gonna find a way to Browns it.
I know. It's like, yeah, that... Good for the Jets. Good for the Jets. I don't even know what to take away from this game. Because that feels like another one where it's like, it's literally never going to happen again. Like, at least not for like this year, I highly suspect. The only team that might also find a way is the Falcons. They never doubt them. They almost pulled the opposite. But this was a game where it was like, yeah, the Browns are better. They just melted down.
I think, you know what, there's a great saying about the NFL, and that's any given Sunday.
Yeah.
And here's a great example of week 2. We've already got one of them happening. I mean, technically...
We had 3 of them.
Yeah, I mean, we had 3 of them in 1 week, let alone... I mean, if we don't count last week, like, as well, like, there were like a couple last week, too.
But even that, week 1, you can say it's week 1 stuff, yada, yada.
True.
By week 2, you no longer are allowed to say week 1 stuff. It's like, okay, if some of this stuff keeps happening, it's because there's something going on.
Yeah. And
this was just like... Again, the Browns and the Ravens are 2 teams that are like finishers because you just hand the ball off to like on those teams and they run the hell out of it. And they did. There was like a sequence in this game where if the Browns just didn't score a touchdown and just went down, they won. But they scored again. And it's like, it's tough to argue with that because of the stat of like, you put yourself up by 2 scores within the last 2 minutes.
2,000 games.
You should win.
Usually good.
Yeah, so it's like, I would love to hate on that.
One out of every 2,000 games you lose, apparently.
It's like, I would love to hate on that, but logically, it's like, okay, we go up by 2 scores, it seals the game.
You had Amari Cooper there on the onside recovery, too, and he couldn't get it.
Yeah, it's...
Just, like, so much had to go right for the Jets, and it did.
Yeah,
like,
congrats.
That is kind of impressive.
Congrats to Joe Flacco, though. You got to win as the Jets quarterback.
And I got to give credit to him. I think there was a Ball Sack Sports quote of him where he was like, "Oh, I've beaten the fucking Browns more than any other person in this fucking league." And
first of all, I doubt it. Big Ben's been in Pittsburgh.
Oh, he's out of the league.
Oh, currently?
Yeah, he's currently...
I thought he was talking about, like, in, like, his career.
He's talking like no one else in the league has beaten the Browns more than he has. And I'm like, and I don't know if that was a real quote or if that was a Ball Sack Sports quote. Granted, I honestly wish it was a real quote. Like, and then he ends up going out and winning against the fucking Browns again.
I would say it sounds made up because it doesn't sound like anything Joe Flacco would say publicly.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds like something he'd say as a joke.
Overall, like, takeaways from this game, I guess it sort of shows that maybe like sort of like last year's Lions, the Jets are going to be feisty and have no quit in them, and they finally have enough pieces where they'll steal some games. That would be my biggest takeaway from this because again, this was just freaky.
I'll say my biggest takeaway is I think Garrett Wilson's legit.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. He played really well.
He played really well against a good defense with a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
There was no chance I was getting him in our league for waivers because fuck waivers, by the way. If you have waivers in your league, like, bro, grow up. Grow up. Like, if you're not willing to stay up until 1 a.m. to pick up these players and try to get there first, like, you don't deserve a championship. But anyways, that's not important. Genuinely, I will say Garrett Wilson... Good on you. Great fucking game. You looked like a stud out there. Elijah Moore sweating already for that wide receiver 1 position. Like, he's definitely being bumped down soon enough.
Yeah, well, I think that's why they drafted him, and that's fine. Again, I forget who the Browns play next week, but the Browns, the Ravens, those teams are coming in PO'd because they dominated these games and then just by, like, freak circumstance.
Yeah.
Boom. And again, another very fortuitous turn of events for you.
Very helpful.
The football gods both smiled on you and spit on you in the same weekend.
Here's how... You know what? I'm going to wait till we get to the Bengals and I'll start talking about them.
All right.
Otherwise, we'll just turn this into Bengals power hour. But
sounds good. Moving on to a game that I picked very wrongly, and really for no other reason than just like
Indianapolis and Jacksonville.
Yeah,
I knew immediately.
Well,
Indianapolis and Jacksonville, not gonna happen.
It was just one of those things where I felt that they would be so tuned in because of what happened last year. But let me reveal the score. It's worse than last year.
Oh.
Indianapolis blanked 0-24 in Duval. What the hell?
I just want to make a quick little stance that this whole Jim Irsay hating Carson Wentz thing, I did say something about it. I said Carson Wentz did not get a fair shake because he had that game. Here's a great example as to why. Right here. And I'm not knocking Matt Ryan. I'm a big Matt Ryan fan. But the game, they just looked lost. They looked completely lost. How are you not getting How are you not getting Jonathan Taylor more involved?
Well, I'll tell you exactly how this game got out of hand quickly. And so at that point, they just didn't want to run it. But this also brings up something that I talked about in terms of certain people need to be on the hot seat. Michael Pittman doesn't play in this game, and they have no other weapons.
Yeah, and Alec Pierce was out, the guy who they drafted second round.
They have no other weapons. Yeah. This is a team that is bereft of important pieces.
Yep.
And that gives a team like Jacksonville the ability to beat you. Listen, you might lose to Jacksonville. Maybe Jacksonville's improved. It's not that much. And there is no excuse for you to get blanked by that team in that building after what happened last year.
Agreed.
You need to go in there really pissed off. And I said this.
Where's the fire?
Well, my thing is I think that game, Jim Irsay is very much not happy right now. I think that he really is looking at Ballard and Frank Reich and being like, excuse the fuck out of me. That's the goddamn Jaguars.
We're supposed to be fucking...
It's listen, the Rams have struggled with the 49ers. The Bucks have struggled with the Saints. At least the teams that they've struggled with are not
horrible,
pushovers.
Yeah, horrible.
Those other teams have been it's another playoff team that just has a style that's difficult for you. And it's the Packers, same deal. The Rams have struggled with the Packers struggle with the 49ers. It's this weird triangle in the NFC of stuff like that. And it's at least you're losing to teams that are just stylistically different, but you're on the same level. The Jags have been bottom feeders forever, and the Colts always like to style themselves as contenders. And it's you cannot claim that when you're getting blanked by a bottom feeder.
I agree.
How many years now is this? It's 5 years.
5 years in a row that they've gone into Jacksonville and gotten fucked up.
It's what?
Yeah, something crazy like that. You know what? I will say, huge statement win for the Jags.
Yeah.
And big game for Doug Peterson.
And we also talked about we wanted Trevor Lawrence to flash. He played very well.
This was a very good game for him.
Yes.
The highlights on this one were fantastic watching him ball.
It's just crazy, though. I just don't get it. The whole reason I picked the Colts was their roster is better, theoretically. And then I would figure that this would have been a game that as soon as that last year ended, they had this fucker circled. Yep. Of we do not lose this again, and it got even worse. I just thought that the spirit of the Colts with a better team would have found a way to prevail in Jacksonville of all places.
There's a lot to be said about teams that go 0-2. They don't make playoffs usually.
The Colts are not 0-2. They're 0-1-1.
You are correct. They're
Which, by the way, you want to talk about again
the Texans and the
I was about to say, you want to talk about inexcusable stuff again. Jim Irsay, he is not going to be happy that these were supposed to be 2 layups and you come out 0-1-1.
You're supposed to come out of the gate firing if you're Indianapolis.
This is supposed to be 2-0.
Yeah, this is an easy 2-0. And I'm no disrespect to Jacksonville or Houston.
No, a little bit.
This is a little bit, but this is just painful truth of you're not as good as the Colts roster wise.
No, the only difference is the only saving grace for the Colts right now. The AFC South is awful.
They will win the division still.
Maybe. At this point, I kind of want chaos and just give me the Jags in the playoffs just because fuck it.
I'm with it.
You know what I mean?
I'm not opposed. I'm in. Give T-Law an opportunity.
To see the Colts, when I saw oh God, I don't even care about week 1 stuff, dude. You can't lose or tie the Texans. You can't lose to the Colts. Or you can't lose to the Jags. That team does not deserve to...
getting shut out by them is 10 times worse.
Yeah.
They didn't beat you 6-0 and you can say, oh, we just didn't execute.
No.
You got fucking
smacked.
bodied. Yeah, 24-0, that's bad.
Through 2 weeks, I think the Titans looked the best, even though they're 0-2. Like, they've at least, like, been, like, scrappy in their games.
I agree.
And, like, the Giants sort of beat them because they just missed a field goal at the end. So it's like, I think the Titans have looked the best, but the Titans are not, like, this formidable team this year. But I don't know, man. It's just like, okay.
The AFC South will be interesting to watch, to say the least.
Yeah, for all the wrong reasons.
I want to give a quick shout out before we move on. Christian Kirk. I think my buddy Jack is a huge Christian Kirk fan. After watching some film from Arizona, him and my buddy Tristan, who are my boys, genuinely they kind of brought me onto the wavelength of Christian Kirk, and that it just didn't work out in Arizona. Like the way Kyler plays, and I'm not saying he's a bad like I know I've gone off on Kyler before. This is not that.
Several times.
Multiple times, and I'm sure there'll be more opportunities for me to go off. But genuinely, the way Kyler plays, he just didn't really find Christian Kirk. There were a lot of moments where he was, that guy.
Kyler's much more suited for someone like D-Hop, where it's like he can run around and just throw it to someone with crazy hands.
Absolutely, and I think Christian Kirk is an underrated guy, and I think he kind of proved a little bit. I wouldn't say
that deal is still not good. Don't go there.
No. I'm not saying the deal's good. You're still overpaying no matter what. Unless he's a top 3 wide receiver in yardage and touchdowns this year, you're overpaying.
Yeah.
And that's just facts. And I understand that you gotta overpay because you're Jacksonville. No one's gonna come to Jacksonville unless you pay them a shit ton.
Or you draft them.
Yeah. Absolutely. It wasn't a Garrett Wilson level statement game, but it was a good enough game of where you could kind of be like, okay, if Jacksonville drafts a good wide receiver next year and they've got Christian Kirk over there, I'm a little bit interested in that wide receiver room.
Yeah, that's fair. I just can't believe I'm just more stunned by the Colts in terms of just like the lack of fight. Like, what is that?
No, it's not like a team that's dead in the water.
I will not allow us to spend any more time though on Jacksonville and Indianapolis. My God, that was an embarrassing game. Not for the Jags. It's just like
looking forward to Jonathan Taylor putting up more points on my fantasy team next week.
You better hope so.
Yeah, I'm 0-2. I need him.
Yeah. All right. So Tampa Bay, New Orleans. This one is sort of what I thought it would also be like for the Colts. The difference is Tampa won. So Tampa came in knowing like everyone thinks that we can't beat this team, and it was real close. Then they pulled away at the end.
It was looking. I mean, what was it? Halftime 3-0 or something like that?
No, I think they were tied.
Tied at halftime.
Yeah.
Okay, so after like
3-3.
After like 20 minutes of game time, it was like 3-0, and then I think Saints ended up tying it or something like that.
No, the Saints were up 3-0.
Oh, they were up 3-0.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I genuinely thought this was going to be one of them. That one of the ones that I bet on in my money line parlays, because I like to do every Sunday. I wake up and instead of doing the morning paper, which is Twitter, I usually hop on to DraftKings. Kind of look at a little bit of what's going on and everything. I look at a little bit of news on the side of who's trending to play, who's trending to not play.
Yeah.
And I try to make a money line parlay of 16 games. Guess all of them, put in $2, and if it pays out, you're getting like $2,000, something like that. I do a couple of them with a little bit more upsets that pays a little bit more. I do some that are a little bit safer. Like I usually drop about $10. No matter what, I don't think even in an upset I had the Bucks winning, but I knew it was risky.
I felt pretty confident this time, just from the standpoint of. You win. You learn more in a loss than you do in a win.
Sure.
And I think that team is generally like it's a well-run, competent team. It's sort of like when the Rams they finally got one on San Fran in the NFC Championship, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But it was sort of like at some point these good teams they break through.
Yeah.
At least once or twice.
Oh yeah.
So I was just like, this just feels like the time they're gonna break through this time, and
that was the vibe I got this time. But I will say I texted my group chat the morning of because I saw that the Bucks were meeting on the Who Dat symbol or the whatever the symbol is. I saw them literally standing on the symbol in the middle of the field, and I sent that picture into the group chat. And I was like, "Hammer Saints money line." I was like, "That is exactly what would happen to them." And then of course, right after that, I saw a tweet that I think. Freaking Winston's playing with
5 breaks in his back.
Something crazy. Like, bro, granted, credit where credit's due.
That's tough.
I'm gonna give you the same credit that I'm gonna give Justin Herbert. That but here's the thing: Justin Herbert had an MVP level game while hurt, and Jameis is Jameis.
Jameis.
However, I will say that shout out Jameis with seeing that injury and then seeing you play. Like, I mean, unfortunately, it shows on the scoreboard.
Ballsy just to play,
but it's ballsy. Yeah, imagine one big hit and all of a sudden, your spleen's coming out your asshole.
Big break.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big break. Yeah. Yeah, this game, I like when the Saints and Bucks play just because.
Always fun.
Well, I like it just because tempers always flare, obviously. We saw that. Mike Evans is suspended a game, yada, yada. But I like the fact that the Saints and Bucks very clearly don't like each other. Mm-hmm. And I need that. I want that from a few more teams. I like these rivalry games. I like to get invested in them.
I'm big on them, too.
Yeah.
I love a good rivalry.
So even though it's not like a classic rivalry or anything like that, these two teams are real bitter towards each other. They're always chirping at each other.
It's good modern rivalry.
Yeah, so I like that. But yeah, Tampa finally breaks through. I don't take a ton from this game in terms of the Bucs offense looking bad or anything like that. I didn't expect the Bucs offense to look good in this game. Where it's like, listen, they might find a way to break through and pull it out. They're not going to smash the Saints defense that constantly causes them problems. Yeah. It was going to have to be a blood and guts win, and it was. So they went exactly how it was. The Bucs defense is legit though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a real takeaway that you can have from this. The Bucs defense is legit. Yep. If Tampa's offense looks lethargic another week, it'll be a little bit more of a red flag. But again, like I said, it's gone how sort of I've expected for the Bucs.
I'll give him the pass next week because both Mike Evans and Godwin are out. So I think I will give him.
They're playing Green Bay.
That's a big game, but I genuinely. They've got Julio. They've just brought in Beasley. They brought in Beasley. They already have Scotty Miller, who has a good rapport with
the white receivers. Here we go. We all know how Brady does with his white receivers.
Patriots 2.0 over here, basically.
Could you imagine if that's what they do? They're just like, we're just gonna play a Patriots offense this game. With the shifty white guys.
I think it'll probably work, to be honest. I'm a Scotty Miller guy. I don't think he's a world breaker by any means, but he's a good role player.
I was about to say, well, again, the Patriots and Brady, they made like a dynasty out of like really sort of unphenomenal players who just fit really well in a specific role.
Yeah.
And that's what just do your job. Do the thing you were brought here to do. He'll do the thing he was brought here to do, and we'll beat him. Yep. So we'll see. But yeah, moving on. Good win by Tampa.
Bit necessary.
Yeah, necessary one. They're 2-0. New Orleans. Yeah, they won. Yeah, they won. 1-1.
1-1.
Yep. So moving on to one that I definitely got wrong. Carolina. Yeah, Carolina loses in New York to the Giants. The Giants. A lot of people are the Giants good? No, they're not good. They won a game that they sort of escaped with in Tennessee, and the Panthers just are not good, which I said before the season, the Panthers were not good. And I think the Giants showed, yes, they're gritty, they're tough, they're not going to go away easily. But in terms of
great start for a new regime.
Yes.
I don't think Daniel Jones is the quarterback after a year.
No.
I genuinely, and that's unfortunate because I do kind of like the guy. He's kind of a goofy.
But he's not the dude.
He's not the dude. Genuinely.
Maybe he'll be in Carolina next year.
Oh my God, they're going to bring in another failed
first round. Oh, you know what? He'll be in Indy.
I mean, who knows? But yeah, no, I think, first of all, shout out the Giants. Not that I think that this is a crazy big win for them. I mean, if you're making the strides that you're trying to make as Dable and this new team, this is a win that you really needed and probably really wanted. And starting off 2-0, what a great start for them.
Yep, it's great.
Don't think they maintain it.
No.
But again, like your front office can look at games like this with the new head coach and Dable and be like, yeah, you're the guy.
Signs of life.
Yeah, you're like the team's winning those closer games that a year ago were losing.
Again, I want to reference the Lions last year because I think that is sort of a really good metric for this team, for these teams that are legitimately starting from nothing, which is like, you don't have to win the games and to start off the year the Giants have. It's like, you don't have to win every single game or anything like that. But just show some spirit. Show that there's just like a difference in desire and toughness and will. And I think that is something.
It's almost, I want to say, give a quick little shout out to Brian Flores. It's that Brian Flores, Dan Campbell effect. I'm putting them both together. I know he would.
Flores.
Well, yeah,
when he was in Miami.
Because when he was with Miami.
They thought they were going to be the worst team in the league.
Exactly. And he was able to really rally the troops. I still don't understand why he got fired. It's fucking. I mean, granted,
I do. Well, I mean, I get it from this perspective in terms of I think Flores was a good coach, but I also think that in terms of what the Dolphins needed, it wasn't Brian Flores.
Oh,
I think that when you're dealing, he really, really clearly did not understand how to deal with a young quarterback and Tua. Like, it was notorious that the Dolphins did what the Patriots are doing with offensive coordinators. In terms of, like, there was never a designated guy, and it was a bunch of people in his ear, and Flores was like this defensive coach that made the defense play great, but had no real grasp of the offense. And when you're dealing with a young quarterback, you need somebody more oriented that way. And especially with the NFL leaning towards offense in general, you're better off just bringing in an offensive coach for the most part.
Logical.
And like Flores was a good coach. I think he will get another coaching opportunity. But I think from the Dolphins' perspective, I've heard, and like it seemingly has come out, like a lot of the Patriots guys, he's difficult to work with. Like, he came in with that attitude of, like, I'm just going to do this my way. And that's cool, because he was a good coach and it was going well.
Sure.
But when you're rubbing everybody the wrong way, and there's these other options that are constantly coming around, and you're seemingly mismanaging a young quarterback, I can see how the Dolphins reached that conclusion.
Very logical take, and I agree very much. If you have a young quarterback in this league, because you need quarterbacks to step up so quickly right now, you need a quarterback. You need a coach who can build around that guy's strengths and develop a system that can take away from his weaknesses.
Well, I mean, my God, we didn't see anything close to this, like, just last week alone.
Yeah.
In the other years. And you can be like, well, he didn't have these weapons, yada, yada. Yeah, but they also never gave him the chance to even try it.
Sure.
And they have already now.
Sure.
So it's just a different, like, they've just shown a different level of, like, faith and confidence and being like, we're going to at least see if he can do it. Whereas Flores, it always seemed like, we're just going to make sure that he doesn't mess it up.
Yeah.
Which, on a certain, that's a very defensive head coach thing.
Yeah.
But I also think that's why Chicago, it's not going to work out for Eberflus. I think that, like, Tomlin and Belichick are, like, and McDermott are sort of, like,
exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, I think Vrabel's another one.
And I would say that the reason why Josh Allen was able to be so successful, not taking away from Sean McDermott, because I think he's developed a good system, but his quarterbacks coach and Daboll and the front office absolutely believing Josh Allen to be the guy. McDermott's I think McDermott's a good hybrid coach almost. Because he does know, he's able to make an offense work. But
definitely.
But his defense is truly like, man, that Bills defense, that's what's going to push
exactly. But we're going to get back to the Giants and Panthers here.
Yeah.
Good
for you, Daboll.
I think that Daboll is not going to want to keep Daniel Jones. Maybe Daniel Jones will show us something like Tua, where it's just like, okay, it's in there at least. Like, we know it can be reached.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't be shocked if by the end of the year the Giants we're just going to get our own guy.
And I don't think that's super unfair. Granted, only getting 1 year in this new coaching system and poor Danny Dimes, but because he's had some flashes here and there, but more negatives almost.
Every time he flashes, he trips.
Exactly. Every time he flashes, he falls 2 steps down almost. It feels like. But I will say, if you make an interesting comparison when you say Danny Dimes and Tua, like maybe he'll show kind of what we're looking for from Tua here. Mm-hmm. He's 2-0 with no weapons.
Yep.
So it's almost there's.
God, my only problem with
I'm interested.
My only problem with like the Giants 2-0 is like
it's flimsy.
We know that the Panthers are bad. We suspected the Titans would beat them.
Sure.
And that's a good win. Like, that's good.
That's a good one for sure.
But I would love, again, the Tua thing is more impressive to me right now because, like, you did it against Baltimore.
No, huge win. Huge win. And I'm not trying to take it away from Tua. I just think it was an interesting comparison when you bring it up.
Well, I mean, I think it's just two guys everyone's skeptical about. People have referenced the talent and the flashes, and I think that if they're going to show it, it's got to be now. Mm-hmm. And through 2 weeks, the Giants are 2-0, so that's good.
Impressive.
You'd rather start off 2-0 than 1-1 or 0-2.
Yep.
Or in the Colts case, 1-1. But but we're gonna move on from that right now. But I mean, Carolina, get your shit together.
I think
Giants.
I think Baker's their quarterback though. Really quickly,
we'll see, dude. He's in terms of like through 2 weeks, he's graded like 32nd. Granted, it's a small thing.
Yeah.
But he's got to also step up.
He's got to step up, but I do think Baker is the guy for that team because at this point, the team's so terrible. Why draft a quarterback?
You've got, well, I mean, depending on where you are, if the option is Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, take it.
Fair.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Carolina is just, listen, everyone's like, oh, Baker's this, Baker's that. You should beat the Giants then.
It's fair.
Like, that's just how I feel about any quarterback that's even close to, like, competent or transcendent or anything like that. You should beat that Giants team.
That's fair.
So
that's a fair counter.
Speaking of, again, two offenses need to get their shit together. New England at Pittsburgh. Again, I called what this game was going to be a nasty defensive battle, and I'm not even sure it was that. It was more just, God, these offenses suck.
Yeah.
The entire difference in this game was the Patriots had the one bomb that just got it. Like it wasn't even like a great play. It was just the corner just didn't make the play on it.
Yeah.
Because it was right there for him, and then touchdown Pats right before halftime, and that was really the difference.
Game, yeah.
The defenses are both good, I suppose. They both showed that, I guess. But I also am just sort of like, yeah,
I think we knew that.
You better,
yeah,
you better show up in this game. My biggest takeaway from this is I have already seen enough of Mitch Trubisky. I'm good.
I think. Yeah, honestly, same. Like I'd love to defend the guy, but I think he's scared. Like he's playing scared.
Well, that's something interesting because I want to bring this up because this was something that a lot of people talked about the last 2 years with Big Ben, which is like, why are all the Steelers' passes behind or right at the line of scrimmage, basically? That has not changed now.
Yeah.
Some part of that is that system, and that has to change right away. You cannot do that when a big part of what these defenses are built to do now, they've shifted away from like that Seattle cover 3 thing to more of a too high look where it's like keep everything in front of you, rally and tackle. That plays right into it.
Yeah.
Like you
gotta stretch the defense.
Yes. The only way to get people out of that shell is to run them out of it, and you don't have the line to run it. You do have the receivers and the weapons to throw them out of it or like to make them switch it up, but you're just like swing pass to Najee Harris, screen pass to Deontay Johnson. It's like 5-yard little out to Claypool. It's like, dude, you've got to throw it beyond the sticks at least a couple times.
Which kind of makes me feel like that's why they brought Trubisky in, was because they could trust that Trubisky was not going to be the type of quarterback to want to push the field and be a gunslinger. He's he just spent however long in Chicago before his little brief stint.
Dude.
Yeah, no, like and bro, if you bring in George Pickens, we saw what George Pickens was doing all fucking preseason.
Yeah,
he was fucking roasting guys, getting downfield, scoring, making defenses play more honest. Like how, and you're only throwing them 4 different times. You're throwing them 4 times in a game that you're down by 3 points.
Yeah, it's like I get you might not want to play Pickett against the Pats.
And with this O-line, I don't want to play Pickett either.
Well, I want to see him at this point. I think the Steelers, he's definitely not playing tomorrow. You weren't going to start him his first start on a short week against the Browns.
Yeah. Last
thing you want in his first start is for him to be staring down Myles Garrett. We saw how that went for Justin Fields.
Yeah.
But overall, dude, it's like this game was a game that the Steelers should have won.
I think Pickett would have had the heart to play better.
Probably. I think that also young guys don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
So at the very least, they're going to take a few of these shots. Who knows? Maybe one of them like connects.
Yeah. I would love to see Pickens and Pickett together.
Yeah. Pittsburgh, baby.
Pittsburgh, baby.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's go.
I'm like, you guys just beat us last week on bullshit, and I fucking hated you for a week, and now I'm sitting here like, Come on. Like, where's the team that beat us? Like,
honestly, that same team showed up. It was just...
Yeah, unfortunately.
It was just this time...
They didn't play the Bengals.
Yeah, exactly. It was just this time... And again, credit where credit's due to the Patriots. They have a weird way of finding ways in these close games of just, like... They won't beat themselves that often. They will more now that Brady's not there, which is expected.
But still less than
But, yeah, they're still lower on mistakes. But it's like, come on, Pittsburgh. They scored 17 points. You're at home. You got to be able to get 17.
Yeah, you got to get.
And again, my thing was like, as soon as they realized they were down, and they needed to like throw to win, they still were just like swing pass.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so you've accepted you're not going to win.
Yeah, the rollover and die approach hardly works in the NFL.
No, and it's not the Steelers' personality.
Yeah.
I would much rather see them...
This is a wounded animal we're watching.
Yeah, and sometimes those are dangerous. But not...
So far not the case.
Well, so far for 1 week they were. And then...
I would say that... I'd say the Bengals...
Hey, you can say what you want, I'm just saying. But
they tripped on their way to the kill. Let's put it that way.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about wounded animals. You guys came back when you were a wounded animal. Not so much this time, but we'll get there. But Pittsburgh, this offseason is very, very simple for you. O-line, O-line, O-line.
Mm.
You have to get that fixed because it's clear you guys want to play power ball, and you can't right now, and that takes away everything else.
Yeah.
So, good on New England. They're 1-1. I don't put a ton of stock into that. Because, again, I said before the year, I don't think the Pats are good. I maintain it. I don't think the Steelers are good, but I think the Steelers are tough. They showed it. They just didn't have the heart to, take any risk. And I'd rather see Pickett in there at this point, just to see. Because he played well in the preseason. Mitch Trubisky's obviously not the answer. But life goes on. This is not a situation last year where, in, San Fran, where it's yeah, you probably want to see Trey Lance. But the team was winning and competent and all those things. And I don't like Jimmy Garoppolo just for the purpose of I know the ceiling of him. Which is he can get me to that top level, but not over like everybody else. So it's just heartbreaking loss late in the playoffs. Fine. This won't even get you near it.
Yeah, no.
So this is one of those situations where I think we're going to see something else eventually. But that's cool.
I think if I'm a Steelers fan, I'm hoping to see something else eventually.
Yep. Now on to Atlanta, 27 at the Rams, 31. This game, I felt the Falcons almost broke the curse. Do you know the score when they started making their comeback?
What was it
28-3.
No fucking way.
Yes, it was 28-3.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
It was 28-3.
How did I miss that?
And I was like, if they win this game, the curse is broken. But it didn't happen. Because I felt so certain. I was like, this is the football gods giving them an opportunity to end the suffering.
Holy fuck, that hurts for me. I don't even give a shit about them.
I can't believe...
I have goosebumps of how fucking upset I am for them.
I am not sure of, the validity of higher powers and stuff, but the weird, constant encountering of the Falcons with that number, with the 28-3 thing...
Well, did you see the ball that Matt
Yes! It's
So Matt Ryan.
What type of divine thing is up there? We're just gonna keep showing the Falcons this number.
For those of you who don't know, Matt Ryan threw 60,000 yards.
I think so. I think that was the number.
He hit 60,000 yards, and the football that they took from it to put in Canton, 283.
Yeah.
And it's just, you can't make this shit up.
No.
This is he's gone.
Yeah.
And he's still getting this shit.
Exactly. So for me, as I was watching this game...
I'm afraid for Julio.
And the comeback started, I was like, oh my God. Are we about to see the Falcons?
The reverse 28-3.
Yes.
Wow. I can't believe I missed that. I fucking red
zone.
It
was
fucking red zone.
I know, but the whole time it was like, oh my God.
God damn. Man.
But
I'm hurting for you guys, Falcons.
Yeah,
fans.
but
that sucks.
Rams hold on to win. They started off impressive. This was almost another big comeback. I still don't come away wildly impressed by the Rams in terms of the Falcons are not a team with the firepower to do this. At least when the Dolphins did this, or did it in Baltimore, it's okay, you understand how a crazy play happens. Drake London is not a burner. Kyle Pitts was barely involved, and they almost came back. Again, I'll give credit to the Rams in that they got up early and put it out of reach. But it's one of those games where again, you felt like it just should have been more. And through 2 weeks, the Rams are not looking like defending champs.
I would have to agree.
Yeah, but again, the thing I take away more from this is Atlanta almost broke the curse, but it lives.
I will give respect because we were a little bit harsh on the Falcons before the season.
I remain harsh.
And I remain harsh, but I will say, they've put up 27 points almost, 27 last week too?
Something like that. They lost by 1 to New Orleans.
An offense that we looked on paper and wanted to vomit at, putting up almost 30 points back-to-back weeks. Granted, a little bit of garbage time this week, we'll say. Obviously, I think the Rams playing a little bit conservatively until they realize, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So I think just interesting to see. I'm not changing my tune on the Falcons. I still think that this is a lost season for them and they're going to get a high pick. But I wasn't expecting 27 points in 2 weeks.
No, me neither. By the way, Jalen Ramsey, after getting that pick, shouting out, "I'm him." Jalen, you're not him.
Bro,
you're still not him. Legitimately.
Gave up 158.3 passer rating.
Of the corners, the great corners you love to compare yourself to, you're like dead last on the list, dude.
Yeah, you don't belong with any of the people you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like there's a reason that they're willing to throw at you. It's because you're not a scary corner to throw at, dude.
You get one pick and all of a sudden, I'm him.
Yeah, you're not a corner that anybody has feared, ever. You talk a big game, but nobody actually fears you. Like if you were to line you and Darrelle Revis up, they will target you quite literally 100 times out of 100.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. They would never even once be like, I think I'd rather test Revis than Rand. It would never happen. Wouldn't happen with Sherman. Wouldn't happen with Champ Bailey. Damn sure wouldn't happen with Deion Sanders. Like, all these people that you were like, I'm in these numbers. You're not in that conversation, bro. You're not him.
Not close up. You're not him.
Now, moving on to sweet vengeance.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Okay.
San Francisco 27, Seattle 7. Eat shit, sea chickens. That's all I gotta say. That's more damn like it. And that 7 points came off a special teams block. So really, we blanked you on defense. And everyone was talking after week 1, like, wow, maybe Geno Smith has something. Geno Smith doesn't have a damn thing.
I've been saying this more.
He does not have a damn thing. The difference is we're more competent than the Denver Broncos are on defense and everywhere right now. We'll get to you guys. But, I mean, everyone was coming out, maybe Seattle's this, maybe Seattle's that. Seattle's bad. And that's what happens when bad teams play good teams. And that's what happens when we're not playing in a goddamn rainstorm. Trey Lance is out though, so I can never completely have.
That's what I was waiting for.
I can never completely have a good thing. But here's what I'll say. Again, it makes us what we were last year with an improved secondary, which is we could win the NFC maybe and lose the Super Bowl.
I want you on camera.
I so badly don't want that.
I want you on camera right now to say thank you, Jimmy G, for being our backup quarterback.
No.
Yeah, because who do you have if you didn't keep Jimmy G?
I don't care. Fine. You know what?
He deserves it.
Fine. I've made you say shit on camera. I'll come on. I'll do it then. Thank you, Jimmy G, for being my backup.
I'm a happy man.
You're a happy man.
Finally got some revenge.
Yeah, I bet. You're not going to be happy in a couple minutes.
I will say right now, Drew Lock, better than Jimmy G.
He would not have scored on... Better than who?
Better than Geno Smith.
I thought you said better than Jimmy G for a second, and I was like, even I can't go there. But I'm telling you right now, if Drew Lock started, they still wouldn't have scored.
I will say that the Seahawks are 1-1 with Drew Lock. Excuse me, I take it back.
They're 1-on-1 both ways.
I take it back. I meant the Broncos are 1-1 with Drew Lock. They have Noah Fant. They have Shelby Harris. They have all of their picks. And they are probably putting up more than 16 points against the Texans.
We'll see. But we'll get there. But in terms of the 49ers and the Seahawks, this is what I expect from the 49ers. Their defense is going to be legitimately really good because their secondary is improved. Nick Bosa had like 9 pressures, 4 hits, 2 sacks.
The defense is not what I'm worried about.
Whole bunch of stuff, all that. I'm not even worried about their offense because I know exactly what it is. This more just like stabilizes everyone's thoughts of the 49ers. In terms of, okay, we get what they are now. And that is, once again, they'll be an NFC contender. I really, really hope we don't get to the Super Bowl just because I can't take losing 2 of them in 4 years and 3 of them in like the last 10 or 11 years. I would rather lose to like, Jesus Christ, I don't even know.
What if Jimmy wins it? What would you say?
If he wins the Super Bowl?
Yeah, complete hypothetical.
If he wins the Super Bowl, Jimmy, I will write you a poem. Like, in apologizing and begging forgiveness. I don't care.
Well, okay, so what do you do with Trey Lance in that? A completely hypothetical situation.
Okay, well, here's what I'll say about that. by like next year and stuff like that, all the draft picks we traded are back. Like we've gone through that whole period basically. So that at that point, I don't really care. Make your evaluation and pick. I still will always say shoot for the upside, but at that point, that could be just drafting someone else. I don't know. He's been hurt a couple times now. Again, just because he doesn't seem to understand getting down. Granted, the ankle thing, it wasn't even like a crazy play. The dude just fell on him wrong. That can happen anytime.
It happens.
But he's been hurt before. He broke his hand last year. Sprained his knee once. Like it's like okay, but I have no idea. It depends on how far they get. Honestly, I feel that if we play anybody in the Super Bowl not named the Buffalo Bills, we could catch them on a day and beat them.
Sure.
If it's Buffalo, though, oh my God, just don't make me do it. Especially because I like the Bills. I don't want to dislike them, and I get real salty about teams that beat me in the Super Bowl. So,
sure.
Like,
I think that's natural.
Yeah. So it's like, because again, looking at the NFC, dude, our defense can hang with Tampa's. Our offense can hang with Tampa and Green Bay's. And we have a really sneaky tendency of having LA and Green Bay's numbers. If I have to watch this team lose another Super Bowl, I'm going to scream. And again, I think that the Bills, unless injuries strike, they'll beat us every day. I think we can handle Kansas City on some days. I think we can handle the Chargers on some days. Those are really the three AFC teams that I think are like looking the best right now. And we can get into some other ones. But I think that other than Buffalo, on any given day, we can handle those teams. But oh man. I've seen this book of like Jimmy can get me to the Super Bowl, then absolutely crush me. But so yeah, okay.
Good to take care of yourself, manage expectations.
Exactly. But okay, so I'm not going to spend too much more time on the 49ers other than this is more what I thought they would look like.
Sure.
In terms of their defense is going to be legitimately good. Their offense is loaded with weapons, and as long as whoever's playing quarterback doesn't mess it up and just facilitate, we will beat most teams we play.
Do you think Jimmy G's got a real last question?
Go for it.
Do you think Jimmy G's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder from being benched and now kind of wants to prove himself a little bit more? Maybe
but that also scares me just as much as it makes me feel good because that means his ass is going to be like, watch me make this throw, and it's going to be straight to a defender. Like, every single time he ever rolled out and was like, throw, it's like, what? What was that?
Fair enough.
I would much rather him just be like, I feel so happy that I'm starting again. I'm just going to play mistake-free. That's what I would rather have.
Fair
and
enough.
Like in the 3 times a game we ask you to throw farther than 15 yards, just connect it. That's all I want. And I think at that point, we're as good as any team, just a little less explosive. But in terms of the NFC, it just restabilizes. Like, okay, we'll be near the top of the NFC again.
Niners potentially win the division. I still think they
potentially we could. I have no idea. I think us and the Rams are close. Just because again, I don't know. I just think there's a cap on Jimmy Garoppolo.
Sure,
but again, it just shows that Seattle ain't shit.
We knew that though.
Yeah, I know, but I just enjoy the confirmation of it.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, especially because everyone's like, oh, Gino looked pretty good in week 1, dude. I'm like, yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Check this shit. So, Niners look how I expected. Seahawks look how I expected. You're back in the Northwest, irrelevant, where you belong. So that's my takes on that.
The only thing relevant is that they have Drew Lock on their roster.
Yep.
I don't even care that he's
that play, he's a great starting bench warmer.
He looks fucking great in that jersey.
Even I've admitted it's a sick jersey. Not those neon green abominations,
the navy ones.
But the normal ones. They look good. I'll give you that.
Looks great in the jersey.
now that we've had me go talk about my team, I think we're contenders again. It's just bound for heartbreak. Now your heartbreak has come a little earlier than mine so far. I'll just read the scores here.
Go for it.
Cincinnati 17 at Cooper Rush's Dallas Cowboys 20. Floor is yours.
No need to panic. There's no need to panic at all. I genuinely, as long as we've got Joe Burrow as our quarterback, I genuinely can trust that we'll get it right. I will say, a little bit frustrated with Zach Taylor lately.
I've told you about this.
I'm just frustrated. I'm not calling for him to be fired. I'm not one of those Bengals fans, especially being a new one. I'm trying to be a little bit. I'm trying to be a little bit more optimistic for the other Bengals fans who are screaming bloody murder that the season's already over.
I would have thought they would have been like more hesitant.
That's what I was saying. I'm on Bengals Twitter and everyone's fucking running around with their head cut off, and I'm like, you guys forget who our quarterback is? Like, we're gonna figure it out.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about. I would have thought that they would have been much more like, was last year real?
Oh yeah.
Like,
we're not there yet. We're not there just yet.
Yeah.
And granted, I'm never gonna be there. That was a real run, and I take pride in that a lot. But no, I think some serious questionable play calls are coming across of, we are having empty sets when our O-line edges are not protecting. Jonah Williams isn't looking super great. Lyle Collins not coming as advertised.
They all got
just
put
yet.
in a spin cycle by Micah Parsons.
And you know what? That's going to happen because Micah Parsons is a potential defensive player of the year. So
yes.
I will go out of my, credit where credit's due. Got to give it to Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Was not underestimating him coming into this game, and he made his presence known. This is my friend Jack. Shout out to Jack again. He came up with kind of he is very in tune with football. Let's put it that way. He loves his football. He kind of gave me a little bit of the relief that I was already looking for, but I kind of, granted, I'm already kind of on that relaxed wave of the RELAX. The football gods had a lot. We were talking about football gods a little bit earlier. The football gods have kind of taken their penance a little bit from how many we got away with last year. And that tends to happen. Sometimes when things go your way one season, you kind of have to pay reparations the next season a little bit for it. I think that's just kind of what the Bengals are doing. I'd much rather have this happen at the beginning of the season than near the end. Genuinely, we started 0-2 last year. I'm not super worried. And granted, watching that game, was heartbreaking. And watching us,
is that the word?
It was more heart draining.
Come on, that has to be enraging. There's no way.
Here's the thing. It's hard to be mad because we have a quarterback. So this is
that should make it even worse.
No, I'm getting there. I promise you. Don't worry. It's hard to be fully upset because I've come from a team where I just spent 5 years getting mad because even if our quarterback does well, I've had to defend our quarterback. Whether it's Flacco, whether it's Keenum, whether it's Locke, whether it's whoever the fuck was playing quarterback for the Denver Broncos. So to be honest, for me, coming from a different perspective, I'm kind of chilling. Is it desirable? Not in the slightest. The first week, I genuinely went into a depression for a couple of days, which happens after, losing a horrible, horrible game the way that the Bengals found a way to lose. This one was just kind of disappointing.
You're not mad, you're disappointed.
Exactly. It's more of getting enraged doesn't solve anything. Because getting enraged is those people on Twitter who are saying, fire Zach Taylor, fucking cut Lyle Collins. Whoa. You guys aren't thinking rationally. You're thinking emotionally, which is totally fair when you're 0-2 after a Super Bowl berth. I get it. I'm right there with you guys. I'm just as fucking upset. But instead of being angry about it, I want to be more productive about it. How can we get this team back on track? What's it going to take? Zach Taylor, start giving Joe Burrow the ability to call some fucking plays because genuinely, this is watching. So when we have 1 minute left in the game and we throw 3 fucking checkdowns and go 3 and out and kick the ball with 50 seconds left.
We did the Steelers thing.
We literally gave the ball to Cooper Rush and gave him an opportunity to come down and let Brett Maher fucking do it.
Rush hour, baby.
Oh, God. Shout out to Cooper Rush. He did what he was supposed to do. That's all I'm going to say.
I feel like you're about to throw up on the table after saying those words.
His connection with Noah Brown, I got to respect, though. That, two practice squad guys getting a chance to play. That's fun football. But at the same time, I'm sitting here.
You got beat by Cooper Rush and Noah Brown?
I'm watching Noah Brown fucking dice up our fucking defense, and I'm sitting here guys, what the fuck? Like, how is Noah Brown smoking our asses? This is fucking stupid. And how's Cooper Rush nailing the fucking throws? So, absolutely, there I am getting a little bit angry. But absolutely, no reason to panic just of yet, especially because we got a lucky break with the Steelers, Browns, and Ravens all losing this week. So we're only about a game behind.
You're a game and a half because that loss is a division loss.
Yeah, we're a game and a half behind. So, you know what? It could be worse. Like, for how we've played right now to be a game and a half behind with us being 0-2, not terrible. The Ravens could be 2-0 right now, and we could be 0-2. The Steelers could be 2-0 right now, and the Browns could be 2-0 right now.
Two of them should be.
Two of them should be 2-0. The Steelers, you deserve 1-1.
Yeah.
But two of them should be 2-0. And they're not. So you know what? In the way that you put it, the football gods kind of had our backs, but at the same time, kind of took a little bit of a price to pay for it. It's not exactly ideal. Obviously, nobody likes to wake up in the morning knowing they're 0-2. I have a fantasy team that's 0-2. I have a football team that's 0-2. So I've never been more productive in my life, keeping myself occupied on thinking of everything but my football teams.
There you go.
However, we play the Jets next week. I think the Jets come down to earth.
You better not. If you drop to 0-3 against the Jets, I expect I'm not going to make you push it, but that hand better be hovering over the panic button if the Jets pull one out on you.
The panic button will be on the table. For sure.
You'll be looking at it.
I'll be keeping my hand down with my other hand, basically.
You're always like, okay.
The panic button will absolutely be on the mind.
I mean, they beat you last year.
That's true. They did beat us last year. To wrap up kind of my feelings, because again, like I said, this could be Bengals Power Hour every week. This team needs to get it together and fast, and the Jets are a good team to get it together with. I said that about the Cowboys.
Is Zach Wilson? No, they said
he's probably out another week.
Okay,
he's probably out another week. So
he'll be at Joe Burrow's mom's house.
That's inappropriate.
Is it?
That's inappropriate
for you.
For me. He can fuck anyone else's mom except for mine and Joe Burrow's.
Joe Burrow's. That's family.
That's family. But the panic button's not being pressed just yet. We have a great chance to It was a great chance to fix it this week. We're still not exactly there. You know what? You said it earlier. You learn more in a loss than you learn in a win. And I think I'd much rather us learn some of these lessons of this newer kind of age Bengals of, putting all that effort into the O-line. We're dealing with a couple of...
Dude, you guys have given up more sacks than the rest of the AFC North.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I know. Part of it... And to be honest, to not be a complete, dick rider over here, Joe Burrow's got to let go of the ball a little bit quicker.
That has to be a discussion of how much of this is him waiting for something big to open up and then just getting hit.
And I think that the discussion itself needs to be had. I don't think it's a world-ending discussion of Joe Burrow is the problem.
No, there's a lot of quarterbacks that do that.
Yeah, and when you've got Jamar Chase who can burn down a team at any moment, you're probably looking for the big play, especially when you're down 13-7.
But you need to be careful. You need to be careful of that though. Because there's a lot of teams that are going to be like, we all know who he's looking for if he's standing back there.
Yeah, and that's why we need the O-line to step up so we can establish a little bit more of a run game. I think Zach Taylor needs to start calling a few more play-action plays because I don't know what's going on here.
It won't happen.
Then you need to let Joe Burrow fucking call the offense a little bit more. And the more comfortable he gets, the more he's going to start slinging it and not be holding onto the ball so much because it's not, it's almost you've played a Madden superstar mode, right?
Yeah.
Where you've been the quarterback of a team, you got drafted, back in the younger days, like Madden 09 was my first one. Technically Madden 11, but the first one I bought was Madden 09 because it was cheaper.
Naturally.
Yeah, because, save some money. In that superstar mode, I got drafted to the Buffalo Bills. And I wasn't calling which granted...
Back when they weren't good.
Back when they had Marshawn Lynch. That's how long ago this was. God, I'm old. Genuinely, I remember being being a good quarterback on a bad team, and you don't have any control on the offense at all. So they're having it is 3rd and 15, and you want to throw a bomb, and they've got you throwing a fucking little dump off pass or something like that. it's frustrating. It's a video game. It's not at all comparative to the NFL. Don't get me wrong. But I will say, when you've got a quarterback like Joe Burrow and the headset's going out and you're fucking doing a check down on 3rd and 8 when we need these yards, whether it's to go win the game or to just get the fucking ball down further on the next punt that we're doing, 3rd and 8 throwing a check down and getting fucking blown up by fucking Trayvon Diggs is unacceptable.
By the way, bad week for Jamar Chase to talk shit about Trayvon Diggs.
He picked a lot of people.
He said he's hit or miss. He hit. He didn't even get picks. He just locked him up.
Yeah. No, and granted, you know what? Shout out Trayvon Diggs because he has looked pretty good this year.
Yeah.
I do need to give credit where credit's
I think he's honed in a bit.
I think he's probably reeled in the pick happiness and is playing better defense, and that's good.
That's smart. I think he's like, I proved my point that I can get picks. Now he wants to prove that he can just plaster.
Absolutely. And I think and I'm not of the opinion that he's bad. I've just been of the opinion of the same one of Jamar Chase of he's hit or miss. He's either gonna get a massive pick or he's going to get burnt for 100 yards.
Yeah.
And this year, he's proven that.
So far, anyways.
So far, not the case. And I think, a lot of this hype going into the offseason for the Bengals and everything has created this kind of moment right now where we're 0-2 and we're getting brought back down to reality. We are better when we're an Ohio football team, gritty, fighting for every win, even if we're the better team, fighting for every win because we know what it's like to be on that horrible, horrible losing side. We just got to get back to that. I think it's absolutely possible we do after 2 losses that we very much could have won and should have won. I'll
say you should have won the second game. That week 1 game, you guys were closer to lucky than good to win it.
And I agree with you completely. We had the when I say
you had the opportunity.
When I say we should have won, we had multiple opportunities to close out that game, and we chose not to.
Yeah.
This is one that absolutely we should have won, and whether that's getting to a point where we tied after a horrible start to that game, which seems to be a running trend for us, and I'm not happy about it right now. But absolutely, 2 games 1 game we had the opportunity to win. 1 game we absolutely should have won, almost a must-win this early in the season. Next week's already a must-win game for us, and
yes,
absolutely, and that's and that's where the Bengals play their best when they've got a hunt in the jungle. So
we'll see. Allow me to just give some thoughts on this. I've said all offseason, Zach Taylor is not a great head coach. I've been on
hating on him yet.
You don't have to. I will. I've been on this for a while in terms of he's not going to do the play action pass. His offense is very, very basic. It's the only thing that worked last year is that the weapons were special. This needs to be said. Those weapons have not played special so far. Joe Burrow has not played special so far. That rebuilt O-line has not played special so far. I don't care if you ran into Micah Parsons. You cannot lose to the Cooper Rush Dallas Cowboys. And it's not like it gets any easier than Micah Parsons if you guys want to say you're AFC contenders.
Yep.
The Chargers will bring Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa.
Yep.
That's 2 edge rushers. The Bills go 8 deep on the defensive line. They don't even need to rush more than 4 to get home on everybody.
Yep.
And they will have time to rush because that secondary will cover. The Chiefs, Chris Jones, crazy D tackle. Awesome. Steelers, TJ Watt will be back at some point. We saw what he did.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, Browns. You'll run into Myles Garrett. It's that is an issue again of everyone's like, they're waiting to come together. You can't wait to come together at this point.
That's fair.
That's why if you want to do that shit, you play in the preseason.
Yep.
You can't start 0-2 when you play 2 teams that are legitimately inferior and you've come out and look bad. You had an opportunity to win the Steelers game, sure, but if you had, it would have been lucky. They looked better than you most of the day.
Yep.
And again, I think a large part of that is Mike Tomlin is far superior to Zach Taylor. And then this game, there is no excuse for this game.
No.
This should not happen. And then this came back to what I was saying again. The Bengals were not thought of as a good team going into last year. Most of that roster has returned. There's some chance that a lot of those dudes just overperformed last year. Some of them I think are legitimately good. I think Hendrickson's legitimately good. I think Jesse Bates is legitimately good. I think Joe Burrow's legitimately good. I think Jamar Chase is legitimately good. A lot of those other pieces, though, it's I don't know. A lot of those
There are holes. There are holes in the roster.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think that they returned way too much of a team that was thought to not be good. And you can say, I think next week's absolutely like must win. And I feel more confident than ever that even though they lost, Baltimore has looked significantly better. Cleveland is just weird. On any given day, they might be better, but the Jacoby Brissett thing is troubling.
He's not a guy.
Yeah, he's not a guy. So I give you guys second place for sure just on that. But these are things where, again, I don't.
Second place is potentially missing playoffs though.
Yes, and I don't want to hate on you guys too much here because again, it's only 2 weeks. But
holy fuck.
But these were things like that I thought about going into the year with this team. Of I think they believe in themselves way more than they should, in terms of this is the new standard around here in Cincinnati, yada yada yada. That's great to think, but we've seen a million teams have a great year, then everyone looks at them and dissects them, and all of a sudden they don't look so great.
Right.
And I think Zach Taylor's scheme is not that great. Their defense has holes. Their O-line, you can bring in pieces, but those pieces have to mesh, and oftentimes, not all of them do. And then, in terms of the receivers, Jamar Chase is really good. He's not a rookie anymore. People have had a full year to break him down and figure out what he does and struggles with, and he's got to find a counterpunch to it. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, neither one of them have picked up the slack when Jamar Chase hasn't been open. And just like that...
T. Higgins.
I'm not saying...
No. T. Higgins, like, week 1...
He got hurt. Yes.
Week 2, played pretty damn well.
Now, I get it, but it's just... None of these dudes... The Bengals talked a lot this offseason about, like, this is the new thing that we're going to run the North, yada, yada, yada. You sure as hell don't look like it. Right now, you look like the same old Bungles.
Whoa, fighting words.
It is fighting words. That's totally cool. You just lost to Cooper Rush.
Absolutely.
Like, you guys came in like, we're Super Bowl contenders. You couldn't beat a Dallas team that could barely score with their starting quarterback, and you went ahead and made them look pretty good. Like, come on, dude.
Hey, rough game. This all happens to every fucking team.
It does, but you can't go 0-2 when that's one of your...
No, and I agree completely, which is why my big focus for this next week, what I need to see is adaptability. And that's what I want to see on this season, is absolutely, you know what? The script's been written. We've now proven that not only are we, I believe we've proven we're a good team, but the best teams adapt. The best teams, the Buffalo Bills, great example. Josh Allen starts getting, they start picking up on what Josh Allen struggles with. Josh Allen finds a way to elevate. The defense gives up a touchdown in 13 seconds to the Chiefs. They find a way they spend all offseason developing them.
Miller.
Well, that's a great example of what'll change a defense.
Yeah.
100%. But, not only that, but Sean McDermott's schemes for these past 2 games have been next level. Like, pushing the boundaries of what defense can be, I even say. And is Zach Taylor capable of that? I'm not sure. But you know what? No time like the present to prove us wrong.
You're exactly right.
Your quarterback is out there in a press conference blaming play calling for the O-line. Like, and granted,
that can't. Okay, did Joe Burrow do that? Okay, listen, he shouldn't do that.
Granted, I don't want to say that he came out here and said the play calling's the issue. He literally said that the play calling needs to step up to give the O-line a better chance to block.
Dude, that's not gonna matter. In terms of ultimately and stuff like that. If he wants to talk about things to help that O-line out, freaking throw it quick, at least a couple times. Again, I think the Bengals really do think that we're gonna be able to just do this and stuff. The Bengals lived a lot on big plays last year to beat teams. You need a much more reliable style of offense to win consistently. And, take, for example, the Chiefs and the Bills. This is something that teams did with them that Joe Burrow might need to learn. So, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, crazy, crazy, crazy athletes, make big throws, big play offenses. So, what teams started to do They're like, we're not doing anything single high. It's cover 2, cover 4, cover 6, some hybrid of these like deep combinations. And they're going to have to play patient, or we are going to run them out of this building because they won't have the time to find the guys deep. I haven't looked that closely at the Bengals games or anything like that. It's possible people are doing that because the Bengals really beat a lot of these good teams on the back of like, they just let a go route freaking get by them. If that's the case, Joe Burrow needs to evolve as Mahomes and Josh Allen did to be like, okay, we're going to take the stuff that's like reasonable, 3 yards, 4 yards, and then get the big plays when they come. But you're not going to be able to run the ball that great because I don't think your O-line, even if it's improved, it's not a good O-line. It might have improved from bad to middling.
I beg to differ, but obviously I'm biased.
Beg to differ all you want. Through 2 weeks, they're not even middling.
No, but that that's again that is a prospect of them literally not playing together all preseason. So that's why, yes, do you need to get your shit together fast in the NFL? Of course.
Yeah.
Like, there's no 2-week window here on a normal good team where you're allowed to be struggling the way that you are. But absolutely, like I said, like we both said, you learn more in a loss.
Yes, you do.
So you find ways to make it work. You adapt. It's exactly what we're saying that they need to do. Find a way to adapt. Joe Burrow's got to adapt. I'm not sitting here saying he's a perfect quarterback as much as I'd love to say.
Yep.
As much as I'd love to believe that.
Yep.
You do got to find a way to adapt in the Josh Allen Mahomes style. O-line, you guys got to adapt. Because, again, you're playing Myles Garrett twice a year. You're playing TJ Watt twice a year if he's not injured. You're playing Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack if you ever run into the... I don't think we play the Chargers this year, but...
No, but those are the teams that you anticipate going through.
Yes, in the
And
playoffs.
this is what I'm speaking of. I think by and large, I don't think the Bengals are a bad team. But I think that the way everyone's been talking about them is like, is this team going to make a run and win the AFC again? I said no going into the year already. They've definitely not played like they will. And all these things where people are like, oh, well, they played Micah Parsons, this, that, and the other. It's like, dude, every single one of these teams that they're going to have to go through fields something like that and better than the Cowboys.
Better to learn it now and be able to adjust against those guys later in the season.
We'll see. But quick, fast, and in a hurry is the words in Cincinnati right now.
To wrap things up and move on, absolutely, it's time to adapt. It's time to grow. Quick, fast, in a hurry. I like that a lot, actually. Absolutely. We need to start getting this shit moving quickly. But RELAX, take it easy. No need to hit the panic button just yet. You got Joe Burrow as your quarterback. Wins need to come in, but there's no need to panic and shoot yourselves in the foot because you're so desperate already.
No need to do that. But I'm just saying that like the things they thought they fixed don't look fixed. The things that they thought were solid don't look solid, and
That'll be fine.
it's fair. No, but I'm just comparing it in the context of listen. The Ravens lost, sure, but by and large, for at this point 8 quarters, for 7.5 quarters, they've looked like the real deal.
Of course.
And the Bengals have looked like the real deal for half a quarter.
I have every expectation this team will be able to look like a real squad.
All right. Well, we will see. I hope for your sake that I'm wrong. I hope for my sake I'm not. Moving on is what it is. Houston 9 at Denver 16. I am not going to talk much about the Texans.
No, this is way more about the Broncos.
There's a Broncos thing.
I'm not even going to rant this time. I'm genuinely just going to tell it like it is.
Yeah, okay. And I'm going to say this. I'm not putting much of this on Russell Wilson. I didn't expect this to be perfect going in. Brady going to Tampa, Manning when he came to Denver, like Stafford going to LA, all these things. A lot of these like new quarterbacks in offenses, they take till around like week 5 to 6 to really gel. So I didn't expect the offense to come out doing great. Then you add in Jerry Jeudy got hurt, Tim Patrick got hurt. So like they're working with new stuff on offense. That's okay, whatever.
It's one of the most stacked wide receiver rooms in the league.
Not right now.
Well, that's the thing is you've got KJ Hamler stepping up. You still have Courtland Sutton.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not worried, just as you're not worried about your quarterback and offense playing like dog shit. Like, in terms of quality of play, they haven't played that different. The biggest difference is they have got to know what they want to do in certain situations. The amount of times that they're, like, burning timeouts for, like, thinking they want to go for it, they're wanting to kick it or punt it, That's ridiculous. Delay a game, ridiculous. I'm more worried about the penalties and the coaching for the Broncos. Like, again, I'll forgive the offense, whatever. It's going to take a little bit of time. Everything else, though, those are things that are, like, worked out in training camp. I mean, the Cowboys last year, similar to this, everyone's like, it improves as the year goes along. Guys, a lot of these things don't improve as the year goes along. And this goes back to his Bengals thing. I hope they do. At least one of those things we've talked about, one or two of those things, won't. Then this is the thing for the Broncos. Being undisciplined does not get better in the season. That is forged in the offseason when you're fine-tuning stuff. Right now, it's just sort of going. Yep. The amount of false starts they got at home is abysmal.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Bad football.
So, I mean, the fact that you've barely escaped the Texans and you lost to the Seahawks when you saw what a good team does to the Seahawks, it's like, that's alarming. So that's my biggest takeaway from the Broncos is like they need to clean up all of like the pre-snap penalties especially and game management or rather mismanagement. Those are the things that are truly alarming to me. I'm not going to shit, like I said, I'm not going to shit on Russell Wilson. I'm sure you are, but I'm just providing context in terms of every other quarterback that is switched. We've often seen it be bumpy for 5 to 6 weeks. Like, and if it's not improving around that time, fine. But I expected the offense to sputter a bit out of the gates. I did not expect all like the just sloppy stuff.
And here's where I do a quick little counter because I think you're correct. Of these quarterbacks who have moved on to these new teams, yeah, you're right. There has been a little bit of a growing period that happens anytime a new player comes into an offense. Or a defense. There's usually going to be a little bit of growing pains. Here's my counter to that: is Brady was working with Arians. Peyton Manning. He had Adam Gase, but Adam Gase was listening to Peyton Manning.
Adam Gase was getting coached by Peyton.
Exactly. And then I also say Matt Stafford went to Sean McVay. So these guys are going to great offensive-minded coaches who have proven themselves.
So basically, though, we are looking at the same person in terms of the problems. Because I'm looking at Hackett.
Yeah, I'm absolutely blaming Hackett more than Russ. I will have words to say about Russ. They're not going to be as harsh as last week. I'm saying straight up Hackett's the problem. Mm-hmm. I think Hackett's an unproven guy with, riding off an Adam Gase level higher almost. It's coming off that way. The dude looks underprepared every single week. Mm-hmm. I mean, the 64-yard kick against Seattle says enough to me already that I'm already out on the guy.
Dude, for me, it's that
whole process of rolling down the clock. I mean, Peyton
Manning, that was the thing that was alarming.
Former Broncos quarterback watching that happen on Monday Night Football, screaming at the fucking TV because he knows what the fuck to
I'll
do.
take a time out here, E.
And funny as shit. I love watching that thing over and over and over again sometimes. Absolutely. Something's wrong with this offense. This is not the offensive-minded head coach that they were hoping to bring in when they hired him. Should have brought in, to be honest with you, should have brought in Kevin O'Connell, in my opinion.
Probably.
And
again, I think the Hackett hire had a lot to do with they wanted Aaron Rodgers.
I don't give a shit because
I know, I'm just saying why.
Here's a great example. Here's something my dad taught me when I was in fucking 6th grade. I put down a pre-order for a video game that we didn't have a system for yet, and I was banking. I wanted a new Wii game, or excuse me,
as you do.
I wanted a 3DS game. And we didn't own a 3DS. And my dad literally looked at me like I was a fucking idiot and said, "Why the hell are you spending money on a game that you can't even play yet?" And I go, "Well, for Christmas is coming around the corner, birthday's coming around the corner. I'm hoping to get a 3DS.
One of those.
I'm getting one." And my dad just goes, "Yeah, that's stupid. Even if you are getting one, even if you're getting 3, like you are banking, you are putting all your eggs in one basket, hoping it's going to work out." And granted, in this case, it very clearly didn't. If that was the case, that they were trying to bring him in for A-Rod. I'm not sold on Hackett at all. His offense looks uninspired. He very clearly doesn't have a control on this locker room because that's how you get this kind of undisciplined plays and stuff. More of a people's coach than a leader of men. And that's kind of the vibe I get. And to be completely frank, I think Russell Wilson does deserve some fucking blame because
I'm just saying that I'm willing to be more patient with that just because of history.
And you know what? That's totally acceptable, and I'm not angry at you for having his back a little bit.
Trust me, I don't like rooting for former Seahawks.
Genuinely, the thing that sticks out the most is watching Russell Wilson completely miss a wide open Javonte Williams in the end zone. And not by missing him, but with a bad throw.
Not seeing him. Because a quarterback of your talent, a quarterback of your veteran experience, how the fuck are you missing a wide open guy with 2 end zone letters in between him from other people? And what happens when he finally does see Javonte Williams? He throws the fucking ball at a defender's helmet and it bounces off to the end of the fucking end zone. Their red zone issues are alarming.
Their red zone issues are again, that goes mostly to Hackett. I am going to put most of the blame on Hackett. I'm not convinced at all. That's the timeout bullshit. That's the not knowing if we're going to go for it, not, yada, yada, yada.
That's crazy.
That is Bush League ref stuff. But then, again, I have to say, I'm not convinced on Russell Wilson anymore because this is not the same guy who is playing for Seattle and playing lights out ball and able to win those close games and pull out the comebacks. This is not the same guy anymore. He's older and he's not going to be able to move the way that he used to, especially with all the hits that he's been taking. The O-line's not looking great over in Denver right now for him either. Genuinely, you've got a worse version of Russell Wilson who you're paying $250 million for, and you spent all this draft capital on. I don't think he wins a ring for this team.
I'm not sure he does. This weekend will be a good barometer, though, for the Broncos.
Who they play again?
49ers. We come to Denver.
Are you going?
I don't think so.
It's a bummer.
I might, but
you gotta go, bro.
Even
if it's nosebleeds, you gotta go.
Yeah, I know, I might, but
and regardless,
it's just
he puts it really well. This is going to be a good barometer, a good measuring stick to see exactly where the Broncos are. Is this panic button moment?
Yeah.
Or is this relax moment? And I think, unfortunately, Broncos fans are going to be hitting the panic button very soon.
Here's potentially their one saving grace is Russell Wilson he's just understood how to play the 49ers for some reason.
And
I mean, my God, it's sort of like us with the Rams. Like they just struggle with us. For some reason, we just struggled with Russell Wilson.
if he's on the sideline yelling run or pass, you guys are fucked. So.
Yeah.
Did you see that video?
Well, I mean, here's the good news. They all know it's run. We're just gonna run it on you.
I mean, bro, and that's another thing that speaks. And granted, Russell Wilson's a cornball. I think he's the corniest fucking.
I saw something that made me laugh pretty hard. It was just like Russell Wilson drives the speed limit when he plays GTA.
Absolutely. No, and my favorite one is that like Broncos fans are literally like talking to themselves of just like, okay, we like Russell Wilson's talent, but the shit that he puts out on social media
Broncos
is
country.
Awful. There's that
That's
one.
Right.
There's the fucking video where he's pointing at shit that he cares about, and he's like, "We care a lot," and like that video makes me want to literally punch my own fucking head.
Literally
out my
every single person who's done one of those, I'm like, that's just weird.
Well, first of all, if you're doing a TikTok trend as a 30-ish something adult,
what are we doing?
You got a question mark already over your head.
Probably doing it for some money.
Most likely. But genuinely, I mean, and then there's that video of him running a Pee-wee team on the fucking Denver sideline saying, run or pass, come on guys, run or pass. And it's so hard to watch. And that's another thing that, yes, he's a cornball. Why does he have to do that? Because it makes me. I
think he just genuinely is a cornball.
No, absolutely. I don't think it's a situation where he's going out of his way because the team is that bad or the coaching's that bad. But if you are literally, if that's like Russell Wilson wasn't doing that shit over in Seattle, bro.
Well,
we know of.
Well, also, I think there's a pretty significant difference. I don't think it mattered if you yelled run or pass in Seattle. They weren't going to hear shit out on that field.
Fair. But yeah, no. It just drives me insane how much of a fucking loser ass cornball this guy is, which is obviously why I'm biased against him, and the fact that he beat us in a Super Bowl that I don't bullshit.
See, this is what I mean about bitterness. Please, Buffalo, I don't want that to be you.
I'm still holding a grudge on the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm literally
Why do you think
Drew Lock to get out of
Why do you think I hate the goddamn Chiefs?
Yeah, no, I get it. Believe me, I get it. And but yeah, it comes back down to coaching. I mean, if you have to have your quarterback on the sidelines fucking yelling run or pass, how bad is that?
When you have to have your fan base counting down the last 10 seconds of the play clock when you're at home,
and booing this brand new Denver offense. I mean, y'all got your quarterback, bro. Like I don't get it. I don't
What's
fucking. That's the Twitter people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's my Twitter people voice.
That's my Twitter people.
Yeah.
Well, like, for me, I'm just more concerned if, like, as a Broncos, like, fan, if I were, it would be they just do some shit that's just completely crazy. And I'm not going to say fire Hackett. He's only coached 2 games.
I say fire Hackett.
Okay.
After the year. You let him play out the year.
Well, I'm just saying, like, these are things that I think definitely can improve. The penalties might not, but I think a lot of the pre-snap indecision, that can improve with time. I don't want to hear somebody talking about, like, well, we're not going to fire Zach Taylor. I don't want to hear that and then be like, we're going to fire this guy for 2 games.
Well, here's the thing, is that, like, at the end of the year, if we don't make playoffs, you are firing Zach Taylor.
Yeah.
No. Like that's the thing, is the reason why I'm not calling for that now is because I'm trying to be a rational fucking fan. But what I'm saying
this is what I'm saying to Broncos fans. Be rational in that he's coached 2 games.
I think you got Adam Gase 2.0. And I think even when it's all said and done, give us 15 more games, Broncos are going to have one big hole in that roster. And as a Russell Wilson hater, it's not going to be the quarterback. It's not going to be the wide receivers. It's not going to be the O-line. It's not going to be the running backs. It's going to be literally unable to use this offense to its best potential because you have been coaching off Aaron Rodgers.
That is the biggest concern. Well, I feel that way. I've been concerned about that for anybody who comes out of the Packers staff. It's like their offense has never been particularly like schematically advanced or talented. Aaron Rodgers is just a menace. But
and that's exactly what happened. Is fucking Peyton Manning gets Adam Gase hired as a head coach. Look what fucking happens.
Great.
And so I
somehow he got 2 jobs.
I don't know. I don't know.
But overall, Denver won. You beat a really bad Texans team, and that's the reason you won.
By 1 touchdown.
And there is going to need to be significant improvement, or San Francisco will rout you.
I think San Francisco routs them.
I hope so, because I've talked a lot of shit to Broncos fans. You know?
That sounds like you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking to John. I'm like, I won't show up to work if I lose. I can't do it. I'll have to stare down 50 of the fuckers by myself. I mean, I'll probably still go in and just take it.
See, that's my favorite
part. But I'm just going to be so bitter.
See, that's my favorite part, is I talk so much shit and it just bounces right off me when it comes back. I don't know how. I've just engaged so many of them. At this point, I'm like, ooh, people are going to be waiting. You've seen the group chat. Everybody loves to pick on me as a bandwagon fan for joining the Bengals. I'm like, bro, we're 0-2.
Even I haven't texted you about it because I know I'm just going to talk to you about it.
I'm like, bro, I'm 0-2 against 2 terrible fucking teams.
Yeah, not great.
Like, I'm still here. How the fuck can I be a bandwagon fan on the worst start of the season?
Yeah, by the way,
we could have asked for?
I mean, especially when you switch teams, you jumped to a perennial winner, didn't you? Way to pick the hottest bandwagon in the league.
I traded in 3 rings for 0. Like, I was like, no, take the fucking rings. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Like, take it fucking back. The Denver Broncos unfollowed me on Twitter. It's official.
That's why
they do not love me anymore.
No, that's why I couldn't. That's why I can't call you a bandwagon fan. I'm like, generally a bandwagon fan
joins a team that
jumps on like a good bandwagon.
Yeah, no,
I joined. Some people, if you had jumped on like the Bills or the Chiefs or something like that, it's like that's a bandwagon. You jumped on like an old fashioned like prairie buggy that was lost and by itself in the middle of nowhere, and then came
seemed like fun.
And then came this tiger from Louisiana that hitched itself for the horses and just pulled you away.
I literally picked a rackety, terrible fucking buggy.
Yeah.
That is because it's being led by a fucking tiger. I was like, that's cool.
It's missing a wheel. It's like
that's cool. Like, now I get to drive by the fucking Broncos fucking bandwagon with all the horses, and I just be like, look, I got a tiger, bro. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, I wouldn't call you a bandwagon because it's like, yeah, you normally pick a good team. Okay, but yeah, Denver, get your shit together. We'll see what they look like this weekend. I really hope you don't get it together this weekend, frankly.
I don't think they will, man.
I hope not. But on to the third crazy game from the weekend.
Unfortunately.
Las Vegas 23, Cardinals 29. This game was 20-0.
Fluke.
No, I agree with you. It's a fluke. It's absolutely a fluke. But it's just like, how did all 3 of these games happen in the same weekend?
I have to, man.
What the hell? That 2-point conversion is so ridiculous.
Bro, it's literally, first of all...
That's just bad defense.
First of all, bad defense. Second of all, he scurries around like a little midget, like who got caught with his dad's phone.
I
like,
love that.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite analogies I've seen.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray runs like a toddler who just stole your phone.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he looks like.
That's exactly... Oh, he looks awful.
Well,
Like, when he runs it, like...
It's comedic.
It's comedic.
Lamar Jackson, when he runs, you're like,
Athlete.
that looks right.
Athlete. You
Kyler
look at him,
Murray looks
athlete.
like a cartoon character running. It's just like...
Yeah, you genuinely expect to hear like a Tom and Jerry, like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As he runs, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And he looks
whenever like people miss him and he like speeds up, you hear like the road runner like.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like he looks like a cartoon.
Bro,
What the hell is that?
He doesn't look human at all. What is he, 5'9"?
Something like that.
He's short as shit, isn't he? Yeah. No, for an NFL quarterback, of course. It genuinely just, oh my god, like it's watching highlights of him run is honestly cringeworthy because it's just like I don't like how he does it.
It's not cringeworthy in that it's not effective.
Yes, when you
just
watch
like,
him run, it's just
it's one of those things where like how the hell does that work?
exactly.
But and that's really the Cardinals this whole game. How the hell did that work? And a big part of it is Vegas just
Sell the fuck apart.
Yeah. I mean that's generally a part of these like types of games.
Yeah.
It generally requires the team that's ahead to just like
Shit the bed for 2 quarters of football.
yes. I mean you should
With minor exceptions.
such as well the 28-3 one, the first one. The OG.
Yeah.
That was
a quarter and a half or something. Like quarter and 2 minutes.
Yeah, something
So
like that.
and then when the fuck did the fucking Jets
the Jets that they were up
they pulled it up in like within 2 minutes.
the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, last 2 minutes.
The
How
the
fuck is
Browns
that?
were up by 13 at the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, how the fuck does that fucking happen? Like that one shocks me a little bit more because this one what did they score 3 points in the entire second half?
Yep.
So yeah,
They were up 20-0. They ended up 23.
Yeah, very very.
I mean, you want to talk? You want the
very
epitome
easy to
of
find
weird.
out what happened here.
It's also the epitome of weird was the overtime, where it's like the Raiders, Renfro fumbles, Raiders recover, next throw, Carr misses Devontae Adams, almost intercepted. Jesus. Throws again, Renfro. Spinning,
Fumble.
gets hit by a heat-seeking missile, and somebody you talk shit about in Isaiah Simmons.
I wasn't talking shit about Isaiah Simmons. I'm saying he can't make up for 9 other positions.
No, I'm just saying.
No, I think Isaiah Simmons is a stud.
You have specific reference, but he came in like a missile.
I did reference him because
and smacked Hunter Renfro, and it gets picked up for a touchdown. And the dude almost Deshaun Jackson did.
Oh my god!
Dude, when that play happened,
it's like 0.02 seconds away from.
Dude, when that happened live, I was like, did he just fucking do?
No, part of me I saw the replay and I literally because I watched Red Zone and I literally just I saw him do it. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm
when he did it live, I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
I was like, no. What?
I honestly
No way.
would have loved for that
I
just to complete just a weird sequence. I mean,
and then the Raiders get a fucking fresh set of downs.
Yeah.
20, and then throw a bomb to Devontae. It's over. Like that's how I would imagine that.
It's just like what that like this game can just be described as weird. I don't think the Cardinals are good. I think the Raiders are actually. I think they're a good team that just shit the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I take away from this. It's like what the like the Raiders. I understand you lose to the Chargers, and then it's like all right, fair enough. They come out looking awesome. It's like, okay, now
great, yeah.
It's like, this checks out. This seems normal. And then it's like, whoa. So it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to take from that. I'm going to take away from that is that they were a good team that really let their foot off the gas.
And you can't do that in this league.
Yeah, even against the Cardinals. Because frickin' Roadrunner is going to run around for 84 yards in 20 seconds.
Just seeing him run in my head gives me a headache. Like, it's genuinely... And the worst part is, he gets yards. And he gets touchdowns. And he gets 2-point conversions. And it's just like, bro, this shit work.
That second 2-point conversion to AJ Green was a sick throw, though.
A
sick catch.
Broken clocks right twice a day.
I know, but I'm just giving him his due here. It was like, that was a nice throw.
Shouldn't have even had the opportunity.
No, he shouldn't have. He shouldn't.
Shouldn't have even had.
He shouldn't have. He shouldn't have had the opportunity.
Should have been a garbage time.
I'm just credit where credit's due. Throw the fucking needle on that one.
I'll give it to him.
But, yeah, crazy game. Cardinals, I still don't think you're great, but credit where credit's due. You came back and got this one.
A win's
Raiders,
a win.
what the fuck?
A win's a win. Raiders need to wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
You're a better team than this.
Yeah, the autumn wind is a bitch this time for them.
Clearly, yeah. I guess the desert's a little less forgiving.
I guess so. Yeah, guys, time to get out of the casinos and into the film room.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, it's not a ton to say about it. It was going totally normal, just like the other two, and then shit just went to hell. So moving on though to Chicago and Green Bay, yeah, it sort of checks out.
I really
Chicago 10, Green Bay 27. Not much to say here. It's sort of went how you expected.
I was gonna say
the Bears are bad. We know it. You won in a monsoon. That's all it was.
Off of a lucky throw, to be honest. I think it all.
They had a broken play that went for a touchdown, and then we fumbled. But but this game, it's like, yep, checks out. Their offense is bad. Because their offense didn't even play well against us either. It was just they were the ball bounced their way in the rain. There was no rain to speak of, and the ball didn't need to bounce anyway. The Packers just ground and pounded them out.
Yeah, Packers, I will say, Aaron Jones, obviously the real deal. Even with A.J. Dillon around, I think he's still the guy. No disrespect to A.J. Dillon. I think he's a solid, more power back.
That dude is thick. Yeah. To try to do the Trump meme. Thick.
I absolutely think that, with Lazard back and the more that this offense gets more acquainted and shit, the Packers did what they were supposed to do. I don't know what more I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, they won. I still don't think the Packers are a legit contender. I think you need weapons more than what they have. But they are good enough to beat the Bears.
I think the Packers and Vikings are just going to have this mid-off until someone fucking wins it.
Funny you referenced the Vikings. Let's move on to them. Monday Night Football doubleheader.
God, they need to do...
We'll start with...
Get rid of Thursday Night Football and just give me doubleheaders.
I don't mind Thursday Night Football.
I don't either, but I genuinely, if I had to give up a Thursday Night Football game and now that, of course, Amazon's doing all this, they're going to...
That sucks.
That sucks.
First they mess up Lord of the Rings, now they're messing up Thursday Night Football. Unbelievable. Amazon's 0 for 2 right now.
It's just Amazon in general being a fucking L.
The only thing you guys have that's good is the boys. But in terms of the Vikings, though, Minnesota 7, Philly 24.
I expected a better game.
Me too. There's another quarterback in this game that we were skeptical of who is playing very well through 2 games, though. Jalen Hurts has looked the part through 2 games.
I have to eat some crow. Absolutely. This offense lives and dies with Jalen Hurts, and he's found a way to make it thrive. It is thriving. I would say not living, thriving.
Yeah. Fly, Eagles, fly.
I still think he could come back down to earth in the way that Tua is. I don't want to be too bullish on him so quickly.
Yeah.
But if you told me I had to pick one guy right now, Tua or Jalen, I think 10 out of 10 times I pick Jalen.
Yeah, he's out here doing the damn thing.
He's looking good.
Yeah,
as much as I'd love to fucking hate, he's looking good.
Yeah, and if he continues to look that way, Philly could win the NFC too.
The way they're looking right now, I wouldn't be surprised if people start putting them Jalen Hurts bets down for MVP. He'd be a dog, but they have a cakewalk schedule. That's why I say it.
Yeah, they have a cakewalk schedule, but there's other teams with less of a cakewalk that if they do well is over. True. Overall, Philly just
dominated.
They did the damn thing.
Yeah.
Jay Jetta got shut down by Darius Slay.
And to be honest, that
big play Slay.
That Philly defense.
They're legit.
They're legit too.
Yep, they got two great corners, great D line. Good backers, good. I mean, Philly is just well-rounded.
They're well-rounded. We keep saying, man, crazy how good this team got so fast, and they're living up to the billing.
Yeah, basically in 3 days.
3 days, they got fucking insane, and everybody, on paper, they were insane, and now the product is proving it.
Yeah.
So
they look every bit the part.
Absolutely terrifying team right now to be up against if you're any of these teams that they have to play. I don't have much more to say other than I think the Vikings just got outmatched by a better defense. Kirk Cousins in Monday Night Football never works out. I think Kirk Cousins next week is going to pull the Jalen Ramsey on him because he's playing at 1 p.m. So
like that?
He's stoked to be playing at 1 p.m. again. A game I thought it was going to be a lot closer. Ended up not being the case. Eagles dominated pretty much the whole time. You can make any fucking excuse you want, Vikings fans. Oh, Irv Smith dropped a fucking easy touchdown.
He did, though.
He did. You're still down 10 fucking points.
Yeah, you still lost. Yeah, it's like, God, that's a backbreaker when you're trying to turn the game around.
No, that one hurts more than I think the pick on just completely being on the wrong page with fucking
Jefferson.
On Jefferson. That one sucks, but that one can be fixed. Irv Smith dropping, there's no fixing that. That can ruin a guy's career almost.
Yeah, not great. But overall, Philly dominated in a game that a lot of people thought was going to be close.
Philly's looking good. Jalen's looking good.
Yeah, I still think the Vikings are good. I think that it just reared its ugly head tonight that they've struggled in prime time. And some of the guys are not on the same page in a new offense. And
team's still figuring it out. I'm not super worried about the Vikings, but they played a team that is much more in sync.
Definitely. On to the other Monday night football game. Even more of a fucking ass kicking.
Yeah, I don't think
Buffalo 41, Tennessee 7. Goddamn. I mean, mercy rule. Jesus.
Bro, I'll be honest, I was at Roadhouse with a couple of the boys watching the fucking games. I was talking to my friends more than I was watching these games.
Oh, this game went exactly how I called.
I could have figured this one out immediately too. The Bills were taking this one.
And to the Titans' credit, about midway through the second quarter, they were still hanging pretty tough. It was like 7-10, and then Buffalo just goes like 17-10, and then launches out. Yeah. Like
34 to 10.
I think it was like 34 is when they sat the starters.
Yeah, 34-10, and then they still found a way to put up another fucking touchdown. Because I think it was it was pick six.
Yeah, we got the matchup we all really wanted with Case Keenum against Malik Willis to finish this thing off.
Love football, baby.
Yeah, no. Buffalo still looks the damn part.
Mm-hmm.
That team, I said coming into the year, they're angry. They look angry, and they proved
it week one, and they proved it again.
Well, I didn't think they would lose this game either way. Yeah. But what I was looking for them in this game, because Tennessee beat them last year, because the Bills last year, one of their biggest weaknesses, struggled with physical teams. They struggled with run game oriented teams, and Derrick Henry was like 11 carries, 13 carries, like 25 yards.
Yeah, you got shut down.
That spells problems for the rest of the league.
Yep.
If you can't run on them anymore, you can't throw on them anymore, and you're damn sure not going to stop them.
Yeah. No,
that's by the way, that's who I got for MVP. People can place their Jalen Hurts bets. Barring injury, Josh Allen has that sumbitch.
Here's why I say the Jalen Hurts, because the odds are fucking
astronomical. I believe it. No, I get it, but I'm saying there's a reason that they're astronomical. It's because that fucker wearing 17 in Buffalo is legit.
He's winning MVP this year, and again, knock on wood, but absolutely, I think he's winning MVP this year, and I wouldn't be surprised if they are holding the Lombardi at the end of the year.
Yeah. They feel like it in terms of, I remember in 2012, back to Russell Wilson, I remember in 2012, Russ's rookie year in Seattle, and they really came on and had like crazy momentum going into the playoffs, and Atlanta beat them at like the very end. And it was sort of like, you just got the feeling after that game, you're like, ooh, that feels like something. Then the next year, they just came in with a swagger.
Yep.
I felt like it at the end of the year last year with Buffalo. You're just like, damn, that felt like the best team coming into this thing, and a team just managed to get them out. Maybe they were a year early. But coming into this year, it's sort of like, it feels like their year.
I don't know who's going to stop them, and
a lot of people would be like, Kansas City's going to stand up. We'll see. We'll really, because they play in week 6. And
we'll see.
By the way, that's a game where I think Buffalo, you want to talk about a team going into a building pissed off. I think Buffalo is going to beat the shit out of Kansas City.
You're not getting 24-0 Jacksonville.
No,
sure.
I think you might, but I think it'd be 24-0 Bills.
Yeah, well, it is, exactly.
Like, I think the Bills are going to go into that building and say, yeah, you're not going to get a chance for 13 seconds. We're going to end this shit in the third quarter.
Oh, the game's going to be over within 13
Yeah,
seconds.
I think that's the Bills' goal. Yeah. They're like, 13 seconds, huh? Check this out.
Yep.
But, like, Buffalo, they said after the game, they're like, listen, we're not here to win games. We're here to dominate. And it's like,
yeah,
ooh.
That's one of those quotes that if you're in the AFC,
you're like, ah, shit.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And then you see them dominate.
Well, it's like, again,
like,
these are not two teams that are like JV squads. The Rams are Super Bowl champs and
AFC playoff contenders.
One seed that has a play style that was kryptonite to them the year before.
Yeah.
And they beat the snot out of both of them.
It's not looking good for the rest of the league.
No. I think that the best way if you're going to go through and pick losses, you're like, okay, where are the short weeks? Where are
where are the ones where they
where's
can get
the
caught?
trap game? Yeah, that's where you're at with the Bills because you're like head up roster wise.
Oof.
It's a tough time.
I think they gotta bring in Odell, not because they need to, but genuinely like because Gabe Davis was out this fucking past week and they still put up 41 fucking points.
Yeah, so he hurt himself on Saturday.
Yeah. No, he hurt himself literally the day before, 2 days before the fucking game. I remember sitting there and getting the notification all of a sudden because he was in my starting lineup. And
Naturally,
it's like, oh, he's been downgraded out. And I'm like, oh, fucking God, Gabe Davis. Yeah. Because especially against the Titans, they gave up immense amount of points.
And by the way, there were big plays in this game from the Bills. The Titans have one of the top 2 safety tandems in the league with Kevin Byard and Amani Hooker. That's not a defense that usually gives up big plays.
And there were big plays.
Yeah. So that is good. That's like the Bills being able to exploit a strength of another team.
Which is devastating.
Yeah. Like, I picked them to win the Super Bowl before the year. Feel real solid about it right now. I don't want to see, if we get to the Super Bowl and I see the Bills, I'm just not going to fucking watch it.
Don't watch it. Yeah.
I'll watch it because I just can't help it if there's a miracle.
Of course.
But, legitimately looking at every team against that one, again, we've been knocking on wood. Injuries are always crazy. If no one gets hurt and it's all fair and even by the end of the year, that team's gonna have the Super Bowl trophy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm banking on it myself.
Yeah, and he doesn't. And believe me, his team will be one of the ones that probably gets bounced by them.
Like I said, if my ideal playoffs are knocking out the Broncos, knocking out the Chiefs, either winning or losing to Buffalo.
Let the chips from. God, can you imagine how shitty you and I are going to be if we play in the Super Bowl?
Oh my God.
Do you have any idea how awful that'll be for you in particular, obviously? But
I won't talk about that because all I'm going to be thinking about is the last time the Niners and Bengals.
The last 2 times.
Oh.
In fact.
History.
We like you guys. You guys don't like the AFC West or the NFC West in the Super Bowl. Rams, 49ers. It's like, ugh.
Fuck off. We should have won against the Rams.
I'm supposed to say against who?
We should have won against the fucking Rams. I'm still pissed about it.
Yeah, if that manages to be the Super Bowl matchup, you and I are gonna have to have.
We'll have a
tough time.
We'll do a watch party in the middle of a Super Bowl party.
Oh, fuck no.
Yeah, live stream.
Oh, fuck no.
I'm talking shit.
I'm not
showing up to your fucking
I don't
house.
watch the Super Bowl with anybody if my team's in it.
I'm showing up to your fucking house.
I'll lock you out. I'm
knocking on the door.
No one watches with me if that's happening.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go through that process alone.
Oh man. You know what?
I walk a lonely road in that regard. Yeah. Oh hell no.
It's okay.
I don't think that's gonna be the matchup. I feel fairly confident it's just gonna be Bills.
I think it's Bills Bucks still.
Yeah, probably.
I'm still confident in Bills Bucks.
I'm confident-ish. I don't know. I think there's a couple teams in the NFC where it's like
the NFC's a little bit more even.
Any given day, I feel pretty. If everybody has their guys, I think Buffalo walks through the AFC, and the AFC is as strong as it's ever been. But that team just feels like they can hit a gear that no one else can hit.
I agree completely. Like when it comes down to the NFC, like absolutely, I think the Bucks could potentially lose in playoffs to a team like the Niners, or maybe the Rams have a fucking same kind of game they had the last time.
I'd love to see Bills Rams just for the Bills to beat the shit out of them again.
There you go.
I would love to see them just torch Jalen Ramsey in the Super Bowl.
Oof. Yeah,
but
easy.
Not even that. I just don't want to see the Rams get back there. They don't deserve it. But, yeah, my biggest takeaway from this is they fixed the stuff that ailed them last year. They got stronger at the things that were already strong.
There's no holes in this team, and Josh Allen is coming back with a revenge tour on his mind. Yeah, it's over.
That dude had a couple of throws where it's like, God, that's not fair.
Yeah, no, that dude throws a ball that no one else can throw.
Yeah.
Not even Rodgers.
He threw a slant for a touchdown to Diggs or a post or something. It was like, holy shit. That thing was a laser.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are a couple of those deep ones. It's like, fuck.
Yeah. No, it's unfair. That dude is fucking unstoppable, and we are all just living in his world.
I mean, they punted for the first time, and nice job, Tennessee. They muffed it. Dude, did you see what the Bills tweeted out when that happened? They're like, we should punt more often.
Dude, the Bills' social media genuinely makes me laugh. Like
the Chargers' social media is also really
The Chargers' social media is great, too.
They're so funny.
They are, I would say, 9 times out of 10 they're a hit. Sometimes they miss.
Yeah.
But it's very rare.
But I'm willing.
But it's rare.
It's an A still.
But it's rare.
9 out of 10 is an A.
It's rare.
But
there are only a few times where I'm like,
it's so funny. But yeah, overall, Buffalo still backing it up. A lot of people are like, do they fall off a little?
Nope. Got better.
Yeah. I think also, because the Bills, they play all the teams that you're going to want them to play. Mm-hmm. Like, they play against the Bengals. They play against the Chiefs. They play against the Ravens. I don't know if they have the Chargers.
I don't think so.
But everybody else...
No, they play the Chiefs, potentially.
No, that might just be a first-place schedule thing. They both finished first in their divisions.
Yeah.
Because I think the AFC East plays the AFC North, for sure. And I think the Chiefs is like a first-place schedule matchup.
That makes sense.
So I don't know if they play the Chargers. But other than that, we're going to get a real good read on these AFC teams in terms of where they stack. And maybe one of them takes one off the Bills, maybe. But I would not pick them. Like, I don't care even if the Bills lose again. Like, I'm probably just going to pick them every week.
Yeah, no, that's the money line parlays have the Bills every week.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's a little free odd booster.
Yeah.
So you're going to get it.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, for you guys next week, I'm thinking about picking the Jets just to try to switch things up for you. Because I picked you guys twice now.
Okay, it's your fault.
I'm trying to help you.
See, that's the thing is that so many people are coming up to me and they're like, that's the worst part about being a Bengals fan right now.
It's a charity.
No, so many people are coming up. They're like, hey, bro, I just bet on the Bengals to go win by 5 next week. And I'm like, bro, fuck you.
You're like, can we?
I was like, can we just win first before you start betting on us? And
I think the Bengals drank their own Kool-Aid.
Nah, we're not there yet. And even if we are, let me put it very straight for you guys. If the Bengals did drink their own Kool-Aid this season, the sacrifice is Zach Taylor. We're getting Sean Payton, baby.
You're so not.
Sean Payton to the Bengals.
You're
dude.
so not.
He's coming, bro.
We all know that he'll go to Dallas.
Nah, bro. Joe Burrow, dude.
No way.
Joe Burrow.
He's not going to Cincinnati.
Jamar Chase, bro. He's got the best offense you could ever ask for. He's got Drew Brees 2.0. A more athletic Drew Brees with a better arm.
Oh my god.
It's happening. Fire Zach Taylor, bring in Sean Payton. Let's do it.
Way to be a reasonable Bengals fan right there.
This is the same Bengals fan that says we're losing the AFC Championship this year.
Well, I mean, fair enough. Most Bengals fans don't even think you're getting there.
You guys are unreasonable. Believe in your team. RELAX.
Okay.
Anyways, I think that's probably it.
Yeah, that sums it up for us tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.